We're back for the second wave of Ardmores in this little experiment I'm doing to try to save my liver a little bit, and also get myself some more views. All right, so last time we did Ardmores, which I bought off my friend who's thinning out his collection, that were made before they made the switch to steam-fired stills, when they were still direct firing. And today we're doing a bunch of Ardmores that were made after they made that switch. So these are new Ardmores. Well, they're not that new. These were bottled, I don't know, a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic times. But there still should be good representative examples of the breed, and I want to review them. So what do we got here? We have got a Duncan Taylor, which I believe does not state what kind of cask it is. Aged in oak casks. Thank you, Duncan Taylor. We have got a Whiskybroker, which was originally in a refill sherry butt and then was split into sherry octaves for a little bit less than a year. And then we got some, let me finish pouring these. We've got some SMWSs, single male white singles. And I will tell you what these are. This is 66.139. It is called Deerstalkers and hillwalkers. It's a refill bourbon hogshead. And this is 66.164, which is a second fill ex sherry butt, and it is called I Like Big Butts. And let me just say, as someone who is of that generation, like, we all enjoyed the Sir Mix-a-Lot song. We all laughed for like a month, and then we let it go. We moved on with our lives. And it is so annoying to me that I like big butts and I cannot lie has become like a timeless cultural touchstone. Do you have any idea how many great, hilarious, I don't know, novelty Eazy-E joints there are that deserve that spot more than Sir Mix-a-Lot? Anyways, let us tease through these, finishing things off with I Like Big Butts. All right, starting with the Duncan Taylor. Aged in oak. This is 53.0% alcohol by volume. 9 years old, distilled June 2010. On the nose. Ooh, very citrusy. Yeah, wow. This is Ardmore by way of Caol Ila. This is very you're getting your peat, but you're also getting some seashells and just a bunch of lemon peel. Yeah, wow. I would not call Ardmore if I was getting this, blind. There's some graininess. There's some kind of breakfast cereal. I'm going to go Honey Nut Cheerios. There's a little touch of honey, but really on rocks, seashells, flint. And yeah, that kind of aggressive lemon peel, a little bit of tangerine peel as well. And by Ardmore standards, a very clean peat. Again, Ardmore tends towards a barnyardy peat direction. Not really with this one. There's a little bit of vanilla in here, but overall, quite austere, quite, relabeled Caol Ila kind of character. Caol Ila energy. On the palate. It is good. This is good. It's delicious, but it also has a little bit of like I just went to a giant chain store and I bought, the store label cast strength Islay. Like that's the energy on this. That's what this is giving. It doesn't scream Ardmore to me. No, okay. You're getting that kind of fudgy, like vanilla fudge, peat character of Ardmore. There's some nice black pepper. It's not maritime, this. It's more maritime on the nose than it is on the palate. But still, like, it's a much cleaner character than I tend to anticipate. Lemon peel, vanilla, not quite orange peel, maybe bergamot peel, Lipton's tea. Touch of like a little nod towards coffee, what's the name for the tea that's made from like coffee pulp, coffee fruit? But that tea, a little bit of like a chocolate, like cocoa shells kind of thing. There's some mud kind of character to this, but we're not getting like the sneaky dog, like the livestock kind of barnyard character that I tend to want in my Ardmores. It's fudgy. There's some honey, which I'm enjoying. Modest levels of peat. Aggressive, Benaroma plus levels of peat on this. It's delicious. It's fine. But it's also not throwing a ton of character at me. We'll see what happens when I add water. What I really want is for this to get stinkier. And then I can call it a proper Ardmore. All right. This is 53, so I can give it at least 2 squirts. Probably 3. Give it like another half a squirt. We'll call that done. All right, moving on. This is the one I'm really curious about. I have not had a ton of like really aggressively sherried Ardmores, but this one sounds like it's really aggressively sherried. So, again, was in a butt for a while, and then re-racked into an Oloroso Octave for roughly 9 months. And then finally bottled in 2018. Whiskybroker here. This is cask number 2642B. 72 bottles of this. Heavily, aggressively sherried Ardmore. Let's see what we got. Ovaltine. So we're a little bit of like on a Christmas story kind of thing. Yeah, Ovaltine, American milk chocolate, Hershey's. That kind of thing. But also very beefy. I mean, right now the cask is really ruling over this. Yeah, beef bouillon, Ovaltine, chocolate, lots of black pepper. Behind that, you can get a little bit of like, campfire character. It was a really like, imagine taking, like a college campfire and you just threw a little teeny tiny peat block in there, maybe some mud on there, so there's like some burning mud kind of thing happening. It's trying to punch through the wall of sherry on this. And it kind of works. I mean, this combination of really, really aggressive sherry and the distillate kind of fighting back against it, it kind of works. There's some strong sourdough rye bread happening. Caraway. It certainly isn't subtle. I mean, and again, it doesn't, hand this to me blind. I'm not thinking Ardmore. I might think, I don't know, there's a little hint of peat in there, but it's really, I might be thinking Highland Park. I might be thinking, Benaromach, really, before I get to Ardmore. But it doesn't not work on the palate. .4% on this, by the way. And again, you may not find these particular bottles in your travels, but these are supposed to be like just case studies to understand how the spirit's going to respond in different vintages to different kinds of caskings. It's actually quite good, and I kind of hate it because I don't want it to be good. This tastes like brew up a lovely little pot of Ovaltine, maybe throw a little milk chocolate in there, and then like throw a teaspoon of beef bouillon mix in there. That's a lot of what this tastes like, and it's kind of enjoyable. I'm kind of into that. But I can also taste the graininess, the Fruit Loops and peat character of the Ardmore fighting back against this treatment. It is not happy. Yeah, you've got that just like beefy Ovaltine thing over everything, but then like the graininess, the cereally character, like a little bit of peat coming out. I don't know. Swisher Sweets, some orange chocolate. There's my Ardmore mud. Even a little bit of a hint of like stinky old wet dog in this. Vanilla fudge and like mainland peat. But everything is just so submerged in the beefy Ovaltine thing. On points, this is quite good. This is quite enjoyable. This is good shit. But the Ardmore is suffering. The Ardmore is really not happy about this treatment. So I don't know, and I really don't know how this is going to react to water. Like, is the Ardmore going to reassert itself? Is the cask just going to bury it some more? I don't know what happens with this. But we're going to find out. At least 4 squirts. Go like 4.5. 4.5 squirts. And we're moving on to the straight white male singles. This is the Deerstalkers and hillwalkers in bourbon. And this was distilled in 2006, so it's the oldest thing on the table. Come on. Now, I popped these this morning, and I kind of gave them at least 20 minutes open to kind of get some air into them. They don't, spirits don't oxidize in the same way that wines do. That is chemically impossible. But they do seem to respond well a lot of the time, just having some airtime, and I don't know why. If you're a chemist, please explain this to me, or please explain why I'm insane. This stuff, however, is just smells like it's not telling me anything. I'm begging this. I'm begging this for notes. I'm getting a little bit of orange peel, like a little bit of graininess, like half a slice of whole grain bread. Whiff of peat, a rock. That's kind of it. I'm even looking for vanilla, and it's just not giving me anything. Come on. We're not doing a nice, gentle, Ralphie roll around the glass. We are swirling the shit out of this. And it's still not saying very much. Nope, nothing else. On the palate. On the palate, in some ways, it's a very textbook Ardmore. Like you're getting fudgy peat. You're getting some mud. You're getting some stinky animals. Vanilla. Honey. A little bit of mashed apple, pear, cider apple. Graininess, not oatmeal. What am I thinking of? Let's go honey nut Cheerios again. No. Honey bunches of oats. Some white pepper. Yeah, in terms of notes, very, very textbook Ardmore. But kind of like on the nose, it's just not throwing me a whole lot. Like it's. I'm struggling to say much more about this other than that's what Ardmore tastes like. Decent mouth presence. 59.9%. On this, maybe kicking it down a little will kind of really give it some more character, but I don't know. It's just a little. It's an Ardmore, but it's a very vague Ardmore that does not want to come out and party, and that makes me a little sad. Let's give this some water. 2, 3, 4. We'll do 5. 5. And now we move on to the Sir Mix-a-Lot one. All right, straight white, straight male white, single, 66.164. I like big butts. Seriously, I make it a point to go and listen to Eazy-E's Merry Motherfucking Christmas every single Christmas because it is so good as a novelty hip-hop song. And this is the one we've glommed onto, and it hurts me. There are so many other good novelty hip-hop songs out there. Expand your horizons. 61.8%. Second fill X sherry butt. So what I'm learning from this, between this and the Whiskybroker, is Ardmore with heavy sherry just kind of doesn't present as Ardmore very much. So, yeah, again, it's a little vague. The nose on this is a little vague. Lots of black pepper. Stewed black tea. It's beef bouillon, but you've also thrown a little bit of like a vegetable and maybe some chicken bouillon in there too. So it's a mix of bouillons. Is there like chocolate in there? Not really. We're really on the savory end of things. There's some like maybe like an old leather book. There's certainly some graininess though. Wheaties. Let's go Wheaties. And is there peat? If there's peat, I mean, it's color on this. It's really just like a color element to the nose here. On the palate, I complain about this, but it works. This is another one, kind of like the Whiskybroker, where it works. This is delicious. This is so hedonistic and fabulous. I mean, it reminds me a lot of what you get from like younger craft distilleries, to be honest, that are kind of pushing peated releases and stuff. On the palate, the chocolate shows up. So it is a lot of mixed bouillon, led by beef, but there's other stuff in there. There's some chickeny stuff. There's some, maybe even some fish stock in there, maybe, but also vegetable stock. Oh, yeah. It's not Ovaltine this time. It is Nesquik. Different. Not that different, but different. Nesquik, mixed bouillons, tea leaves, black pepper, a little bit of chocolate orange. Interplaying with stinky, fudgy barnyard peat, desserty barnyard peat. So vanilla fudge that's been peated. That's the core of Ardmore. There's some graininess to this. There's some like multigrain bread kind of elements. What I'm overall noticing versus the pre switch to steam distilling, or not steam distilling, steam heating in the stills, is the lack of floral notes. These are not, there's a little, if you go looking for them, there's like a little hint of wildflowers, but these really aren't driven by flowers in the same way that the old ones were. It's hard to hate on this. Like it's if you enjoy the big obnoxious sherried Ardmores and stuff, that style, you will enjoy this. It's doing the same thing. It's just doing it in a less celebrated, less hyped distillery. There's some mud on this. There's a little bit of stinky dog. Good Ardmore. give this some water. 3, 4, 5. I'm guessing that should be enough. I'll give it like a couple more drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll call that done. All right. See if we can knock this out before we get to the 40-minute mark. Back through these. On the whole, and it hurts me to admit this, these are not as good. These are not as good as the direct-fired still Ardmores. They're also not as old, but I do feel like the direct firing was doing something. These are lacking. They're still delicious, though. But yeah, it feels like we've lost something. But, you know, moving on. Back to the Duncan Taylor here, which is, again, the one that just presented kind of generic Caol Ila store label Islay whiskey. And to some extent, it still does. Yeah, it's seashells and peat and there's some rocks and there's some lemon peel. Are we 100% sure this is Ardmore and not just a Caol Ila in disguise? No. There's some graininess to this. There's some Cheerios happening. That kind of gives... Like, I don't think I've gotten, like, Cheerios on Caol Ila before. There's a little bit of graininess that tells you this is not Caol Ila. But that's kind of the vibe on this, if I'm totally honest. On the palate... vanilla, peat, clean peat, very, very clean peat. This is not a barnyardy Ardmore by any means. It's still bringing the grains. It's still bringing a certain degree of honey that I don't expect on Caol Ila, but in many ways, this is kind of just generic peated whiskey in certain respects. Peat, grains, vanilla, citrusy elements, particularly lemon peel, and some rocks. That's most of what's going on here. And it's still quite good, honestly. I can't knock this. Like, if you bring this to a party in place of big peat or something, you're not, like, missing anything. This is delicious. But this is Ardmore. I want Ardmore to give me clumps of mud and wildflowers. I want it to give me stinky livestock. And this just isn't doing that. Score-wise, geez. It's better than an 84. It really hasn't gained anything with the water. Like, it's the same damn thing. This is an 85. This is a... You know what? This is actually like a straight-up classic 85 pointer. Because if I were doing a tasting of peated whiskeys, this would be a great one to start out on. Because it's got enough complexity and enough depth that's going to, like, challenge you a little bit. It's going to wake your taste buds up. but it's also... It's not going to push you too far. That's for the things later, later in the tasting. So yeah, Duncan Taylor Ardmore 2010. 85 points, highly recommended for starting off of a tasting flight, I guess. Moving on, Whiskybroker. Same nose, exactly the same nose. I mean, the ovaltine character on this cannot be denied. I mean, it's Ovaltine and a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of black tea, and then hints of black pepper and peat trying to creep through. Just trying their damnedest. Same nose. I mean, no change that I can see. On the palate. This is growing on me. It is genuinely growing on me because it is very chocolatey. It is very not Ardmore. No. This is not Ardmore in terms of how it presents itself. But there's a lot of chocolate, and there is like a sour element to this that is very like a sour chocolate thing. I got it. You know what? If you are a sauce aroma Baijiu fan and you've been looking to get into Scotch whiskey, see if you can hunt this down. I think it might be your thing. But yeah, that's the vibe on this. It's a very like sour and umami on the back end. Ovaltine and chocolate in the front. Black pepper. It kind of works. I'm not going to lie to you. This is kind of delicious. But the Ardmore is a secondary concern here. It's throwing a little bit of graininess at you, a little bit of peat, if you're paying attention, a couple of rocks, and that's it. Like, it's all about the cask. I want to think of a clever emoji for this, and I it's my fifth Ardmore of the day, and I can't think of one, so I'm just going to call this an 87. This is an 87 point whiskey. It's very, very good. Do not go to it if you see it. If you're one of the people who score one of the other 71 bottles, do not go to this expecting Ardmore, because that's not how it's presenting at all. It's just, I mean, it's presenting as Scotch for sauce aroma Baijiu fans. Let's move on. Now, we are on to the 66.139. This was the vague one, right? On the nose. And it's still kind of vague. Presents very peaty white wine. There's some citrus. There's some rocks and minerality. And some peat. But yeah, I was hoping this would open up with water. Not really. On the palate, though, it, it is hitting the Ardmore marks like it is. But I just want it to be better. Like, as a whiskey, I don't think this is actually any better than the more kind of generic, in lots of ways, Duncan Taylor. This one's more grainy. This one has some more, like, mashed apple to it. Some more, a little bit more barnyard. Vanilla fudge along with the peat. But in terms of, like, what it is doing, it just, like, it hits the flavors, it touches on them, it doesn't really develop them. There's not a lot of depth to this. The finish, it kind of holds on, but there's not a lot to hold on to. It's just it's very Ardmore, but it's very basic Ardmore. Like peaty vanilla fudge, like some like breakfast cereals, but just not exciting. Like, this is 84-85 territory. Like, hold on, let me try the Duncan Taylor one more time. Back to the straight male white single. It's an 84 plus. I'm maybe an 85 minus, but I'm just going to call it an 84 plus because it isn't doing much. It's doing the Ardmorey thing. It's fine. I don't hate it, but it's so basic in terms of what it's delivering, and it's just bumming me out. Like, this is the oldest thing here. Like, if I had something to point to say, like, the new Ardmores are, like, up there with the old Ardmores, despite the change in firing style, like, you know, something to compare with this that I did in the last video, this would be the one, and it's just not showing up. Maybe a little bit firmer in the mouth texture than it was before, so we're going to call it an 84. But certainly not something I would seek out. Disappointing. Moving on to the Sir Mix-a-Lot on the nose. Yeah, in some ways presents like a more austere version of the Whiskybroker bottling here. Mixed bullions, leather, old books, some graininess, a little bit of peat sneaking through his color. Okay. I mean, not really different with water on the palate. I like it better than the last one. Damn it, the sherry ones are going to win this, aren't they? Yeah, that's going to happen. Not very Ardmorey, again. But it's one of the better options in this lineup. Savory mixed bouillons, a little bit of a Nesquik kind of character. Then you got your honey bunches of oat and your peat. Your barn, a little whisper of barnyardy goodness. And that's kind of how this is rolling. Is this better than the Duncan Taylor? This is my baseline. Sorry. It's better than the Duncan Taylor. By a little bit. By a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's not Ardmorey. Like, nothing about this says Ardmore to me. But, like, it's a very delicious whiskey. With the structure to, you know, kind of work out. So I'm going to give this 86 or 85 plus. 85 plus. Which is really like an 85 and a half in this context. But call it an 85 plus. And yeah, that is your scorecard, I guess. I had really gone into the second half hoping that new Ardmore would just smack the crap out of old Ardmore, but that's not what's happening today. What is this? Deerstalkers and hillwalkers. 84 plus. It's Ardmore, but it's so vague as Ardmore. I can't get that excited about it. The Duncan Taylor, which is very Caol Ila as far as Ardmore goes, 85. 85 plus as far as from the if you like butts, 85 plus. And your winner today, the Whiskybroker, with 72 bottles out there, 87 points. It's a not very Ardmore, but like the quality is there. Oh yeah. That little sour twist on the back end of this. You get that on like good Olorosos. Good Olorosos have a little bit of an a high acid snap on the back end. 87 plus. Thanks for watching, and cheers.